First and foremost, why should we care about space? The simple reason is it is not going anywhere. It is there, and someone else is caring about it in a manner that is even more beneficial to us. Uganda has so much benefit from space, so much. Being an 80% agrarian country, first of all, we have the question of farming, seasons. Who is going to predict the seasons? Who is going to help the farmers? Who is going to help the people who are driving the cars, the GPS? Who is going to look at all those aspects? The truth is, some other countries are using the resource that we also have and are using them in a manner that is more than we're using them. The example is China, for example. China has satellites that are simply dedicated to monitoring the seasons for rice planting. China does not have a food security problem. Uganda does. So if Uganda could leverage space technology and space applications, because the atmosphere and just Earth here, it's very limited. There are so many opportunities that can be gotten from outside the Earth's atmosphere. And it's those opportunities that we need to leverage in order to solve the problems that we have on the ground here. And that's why every Ugandan should be concerned that we do not have a space agency, that we do not have a satellite, where have we been when other states are actually doing the exact same thing and reaping 100 times more than any other? So that's why we should be bothered. I think it's very important that we understand this. Simply because there are problems on the ground does not mean that we cannot care about anything else. Simply because we have problems with potholes does not mean that we should not have the national airline. There is an issue of interoperability. Problems don't come one. Problems come in pairs. If you're going to simply look at one problem and not the other, you're going to find yourself that this second problem is going to grow so much that by the time you're done with the first problem, the second has grown way too higher. So let's look at Uganda and space. Yes, it's true that we have problems down on the ground, but these problems can actually be solved by solutions from above. And that is exactly why we should try. We have tried everything on the ground. We have tried everything. So how about we try some new methods of work? How about we look at new ways of doing things? If the first way fails, let's look elsewhere. And that's the importance of space. So it does not negate the fact that we have problems. We have corruption, we have bad roads, we have a city that smells. But the truth is, all these problems can be solved with simple space applications. All of them. They can actually be solved by simple space applications. And if these applications do not entirely solve the problem, they will help give us different perspectives on how to solve these problems. So the person that never tried never got the solution. So how about we try a different arena altogether and try to get a solution from there? We need more conversations like the Geopolitics Conference. We need more people involved. We need to have these conversations. I have been the national point of contact for Uganda for about a year now for this SGSC. And in this entire period, I have struggled to find spaces in which we can discuss these ideas. Most of the spaces I've gotten have actually been off the continent. Interestingly, off the continent, there is so much interest in such activities. I was recently addressing the United Nations Security Council and Columbia University over the same thing that I'm addressing Uganda right now with. And the thing is, it is easier in those arenas. It's easier to access these talks. It's easier to be invited to speak at the United Nations. But our own countries do not think it's very important. Firstly, Africa, one of the main reasons why we're lagging behind is because we don't have the money. The money that's needed for most of these things is not available. So how about we change tactics? And we say, you see, if there is no money, how about we come together, collaborate, and we come up with something? This effort has already been promulgated. Currently, we have the Roscom satellites. There are 3 satellites that were launched by different African states coming together and launching these satellites basically to help in telecommunications. On the 25th of October, just last month, Uganda, Kenya, and Egypt won a collaborative effort with the United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs, which is mainly going to help Uganda, Kenya, and Egypt develop a camera that will be put on the International Space Station, which camera is going to help monitor weather patterns, soil, and that kind of geospatial monitoring. So you see how collaboration helps. So when we fail as one, how about we come together? We have a number of nations and states and entities coming together, pooling resources and bargaining together and coming up with joint projects. The European Union is doing this very perfectly with the European Space Agency. Very perfectly. Currently, they have so many projects in outer space, but not one single European state you can point at that has a particular project. All of them are put together under the European Space Agency, and they are making so much progress. So how about Africa does that? If Uganda is not able to do it on its own, how about we team with Kenya? You know, come up with something joint, and then it helps both of us. So I think that would be a much more practical way of doing things. My dream destination is the nearest star to our solar system, the Proxima Centauri. It's about 10,000 light years away. And for me, it's a very big fascination because it poses one of the biggest points of curiosity in the universe. You know, I think I would love to see it with my own eyes. But then also, I think I would like to see a bit of quasars, and I would like to see a nebula. You know, so those are some of the other destinations. Space is very wonderful. It has so much wonder. So I think really any of these places would be my destination.